Alright, so I'll be doing the valve cover gaskets on my car, and also the breather covers that sit directly on top of the valve covers. And in order to fit it, you gotta turn off the fuel pump just to prevent any fuel coming out. So I'm gonna take off the fuel pump hose, which is located just below this cover here. Which is going to be this 30 amp fuse right here next to the larger 50 amp fuse, so the 30 amp fuse here. There we go. And that'll prevent our fuel pump from starting because we have to disconnect the fuel line. So we have this little clip here. You have to lift off. And there's another one on the back side that you have to reach around to grab. I didn't show it here. And you have this hose right here to remove off. Now, one thing you want to inspect on your intake here is the condition of your rubber gasket. And if it's hard and brittle, you can't really bend it very well. And it's time to replace that. Mine is very hard, so I'm going to replace this part later. I'm going to go ahead and place an order for that. I'm also removing this connector out of the way, and right down here there's a little tab. Just push down and slide back. There's also a ground cable that goes towards that connection there. Here's a before shot of all the oil that's been leaking on top of the breather cover and valve cover. This is near the injectors. That's where those plugs are. Here we're looking inside these spark plugs. This is cylinder 1 and 2. And you can see the oil's been leaking on top of the exhaust brackets right there next to where we're meeting with the engine block. And again, just oil covering everything. So hopefully these valve covers will alleviate this problem and keep it clean. Then I have this EGR valve tubing just zip tied around there with some paper towels stuffed inside just to keep it out of my way so I haven't interrupted. And I finished doing a wipe around the valve covers. I'm only mainly concerned where the valve cover gasket area is. I just want to clean off that area just so that when I pull off the valve cover, no large debris of grease or gunk fall inside the cylinder heads. So just that black area is mostly what you should be concerned about cleaning up. So you don't have to focus too much about the grease down below. We'll get that cleaned up later. Right now we're just focused on the valve cover area. And right here at the top of the valve cover, you can see I've cleaned off that area there just below where the cylinder head bolts are. Make sure that's as clean as you can get it. So valve covers off. Looking at the chain here, zooming in, you can see on the rollers some slight discoloration on the edges, and on the links also some sort of discoloration on the edges. Looking at the rollers just above the camshaft here, doesn't seem like there's any scoring. Cylinder 2, cylinder 2. Cylinder 2 intake, oh no, cylinder 3 exhaust, cylinder 2 intake, no, cylinder 3 intake, cylinder 4 intake, cylinder 4 exhaust, cylinder 3 intake. And it looks like they have, I don't know if these are mid-length headers or short-length headers, exhaust on here. I don't know too much about exhaust, but I don't think, at least I don't think Mercedes comes with OEM. I think they come with OEM log tube style exhaust headers. Here's cylinder 1, cylinder 1, 2, cylinder 2, 3, cylinder 3, 4, and cylinder 4. You can see all that oil that's been falling down on the exhaust. We're going to try to clean most all of this up. Back there on the transmission bell housing also. Another thing to note is right there, there is a little gouge on the sealing surface. It's right in the middle, so hopefully it won't cause too much of an oil leak, but who knows what happened there. You need to check these little holes also. Ensure there's no RTV left in there. I like to use just a small drill bit that easily fits in there, and then only by hand just twist out, and the RTV will start pulling out. And you can see I've got some pieces out here. So I just finished cleaning the covers here, and right here where the breather cover goes, I sanded this section where the gasket material is going to go to the RTV. So you want to sand that down until it's shiny like silver. I also did the same to the breather cover here inside the little gap and valley. Some areas are cleaner than others, but especially like around here where the bolt holes go through, these are really small passages, and it's very difficult to get a good sanding in there, so didn't really do a good job there. But over here, that's looking a lot better, and sanding this down will allow the RTV to bond properly. And again, I used 120 sandpaper cut into smaller strips, and I would just fold it in half like this, and then get inside there as best as I could with my fingers. If you follow Tassos on YouTube, he has a Mercedes specialist shop in Dubai, and he's able to get these sections perfectly clean. I'm not sure if he uses power tools or how he's able to get into these very small channels to sand it down properly. To start cleaning off, I used gasoline in here, since 1 gallon is less than $5, and one bottle of brake clean is about $8 for just this little can. So, and it works very, very well as a degreaser. And I was just using a different variety of brushes to clean in there. And with this breather cover, you want to make sure this hole right here is cleared out. So you can see here, if I point it at the light, you can see that that is cleared. And remember, there's a ground cable that needs to go in through there too. Okay, so now I have all these screws just hand tight all around, and go around multiple times, because as you go once, the gasket will start to tighten down and squish, so you need to go around multiple times, hand tight. So I've got my silicone here, Mercedes-Benz brand, in a Ziploc bag, and I'm going to put it in this hot water to soften the RTV, make it easier to pull out. While that's heating up, you can just use a Home Depot caulking gun for this. You don't need the specific Mercedes tool for it. So it's been sitting in there for a minute, and now you can see how easily it flows out, even though it's squeezing by hand. So right here near the transmission bell housing, there's a bolt missing right here. Looks like an M6. So my camera died, so our battery space ran out, so I couldn't completely videotape everything, but I finished installing the valve cover. I've torqued all of the, and I did clean up the coil packs here and the cables and all around as best as I could reach with my hand. And over here in this area is pretty oily, so I've cleaned up what I could over here too. I've also labeled the coil packs with the cylinder number, so 5, 6, 7, 8. Who knows how long the Sharpie will last once I start applying some degreaser and detergent and cleaners in there. But I'm going to go ahead and remove the coil packs out of the way. here, just have a glove with the opening. Here's another before shot of the driver's side valve cover before cleaning. Again, you don't really need to worry too much about all the oil buildup in the middle where the spark plug coil packs are, but what you want to focus is around where the oil is near the valve cover gasket. And on this little bolt you can see the RTV that's stuck to the tip, so you want to make sure you clean out the RTV inside the well. So new heads are, or cylinder valve covers are back on. Everything's torqued. I just have to finish installing the spark plugs and coil packs. I'm going to clean those before I put them back on. But everything is looking very clean now.